Brussels and wherever you might be dialing in from. Let's spend the next hour and a half together. Please be active, ask questions. My name is Anne Larilahti. I'm your moderator for this event. And I'm also happy to be giving a brief presentation a little bit later to you in my role as Vice President Sustainability at Finnair. A couple of housekeeping rules to get us started. You are muted for now, but at the end of the presentations, we will have a chance to have a discussion. I will be strict with the timing so that we will have that time. Just for the speakers to take note. But if you have something urgent, you can ask your questions in the chat during the presentations or just so that you won't forget at the end. So please use the chat for that, also for any comments you might have. This event will be recorded, and please feel free to tweet. There are the hashtags are on the screen right now, and we will be reminding you of those throughout the event. But anything interesting, feel free to share it with your followers. So let's get started then. First, I would like to welcome Ritva Viljanen, Mayor of the City of Vantaa, who is the chairwoman of the Avia network and a member of ARC Executive Board. She will present Avia Network's Green Deal Manifesto. Please, Mayor, the stage is yours.
Hi, it's a great to be here. First, some welcoming words, and after that, I give you some PowerPoint presentation. But the coronavirus crisis brought air traffic and tourism on their knees. Air traffic fell to almost zero and continues to be slight, almost non-existent, even though a year has already passed. The number of passengers on airport remain in Finland on the level of 3,000 to 4,000 passengers per week, when under normal conditions, the number of passengers would be around 500,000. The figures have not paralyzed us. We are already looking toward the time after coronavirus, towards a new rise when air traffic will return and when climate issues will become key. The importance of environmental values will become more and more important and significant than making choices of sustainable transportation. We don't want to rise from the crisis by any way whatsoever. We wish to be more sustainable than before. Parties interested in airport areas and their functions have established in Finland the Avia network, so-called, which launched its Green Deal Manifesto, its climate commitment at the end of March in Finland. We wish to be a global forerunner in promoting clean and smart mobility. This commitment is the first of its kind signed by a group of public and private actors. So this will be the main story we are telling you today. The Avia network is a consortium consisting of 30 participants of states, municipalities, businesses, higher education institutions, and organizations operating in the airport areas or having an interest towards it. With our joint climate commitment, we want to address the criticism of air traffic and tourism to show that air traffic and airport environments can promote the green transfer and carbon neutrality now and also in the future. The area of Helsinki-Vantaa Airport is vital for sustainable growth of Finland as a whole. Cutting emissions from traffic, climate neutral travel and green growth demand investments, encouraging regulation and partnering between all the actors. But together we can create new kind of responsible tourism and traffic that respects the environment and creates new jobs and well-being. In addition, we wish to encourage our partners and passengers to share this goal with us. So thank you so much. Welcome on board. creating sustainable and air traffic and tourism together. It's very important, but it's also great fun. So maybe we look at this my PowerPoint presentation, and maybe I have the next slide, please. The next one. So first of all, I'm going to tell you more details about this Green Deal Manifesto. But first, let's look about this airport city of Aviapolis. So when you land to Helsinki or land to Finland, they are telling you actually that you are landing in Helsinki, but it's a fake news. You are landing in Vantaa and in airport city Aviapolis. We are building here in Finland new kind of airport city. There is a lot of a big business area, but in same time it's a great living area. You can walk to the airport in 10 minutes, but you can live in a green environment. So there lives nowadays this Aviapolis airport city area. There lives nowadays 19,000 inhabitants, and in 20 years' time, we want to raise it up till 47,000. And nowadays, it's the second biggest business area in whole Finland. There is 40,000 jobs in that Aviapolis area, and we want to raise it up till 65,000 together. So this is also the most international area in Finland, and the success of Aviapolis is very important, not only Vantaa, but to whole Finland. The next one. So it's important that we work towards carbon neutral future. And European Union's goal is, vision is to be carbon neutral Europe by 2050. For Finland, vision is to be carbon neutral by 2035, and the same is for Uusimaa region. But City of Vantaa and Avia network want to be carbon neutral in 10 years' time by 2030. So we have 10 years time to run. The next one. A vision for the Avia network was created 2019. The vision of our network goes as follows: Avia network towards the most environmentally sustainable future by 2030. This aim is in line with the European Union Action Plan for Green Development, the new Green Deal, sustainable growth, climate neutrality, and ecology are the main targets. The Avia network promotes an airport ecosystem that is the most sustainable, attractive, and accessible in the entire world. The three most important focuses are: first, experience, more than just an airport. Secondly, sustainable growth, carbon-free and ecological. And thirdly, accessibility, transport solutions. The next one. The Avia network of business organizations and public sector actors operating in vicinity of Helsinki-Vantaa Airport wish to be a global forerunner in promoting clean and smart mobility. Vantaa Airport and its area strive to be the most environmental friendly and healthily secure actors in Europe. So it's Finland is, by its location, the green hub in between Europe and Asia. And when you choose to fly via Helsinki-Vantaa, it's very climate efficient. You can reduce even 80% of emissions by choosing this ecological road. But this is not enough. We do much more. The next one. The key points of this Green Deal Manifesto are: but first, you can arrive at the airport in an environmentally friendly manner. You can access the Helsinki-Vantaa Airport flexibility and environmentally friendly, utilizing public transport and combining of different modes of transport. We are promoting the creation of low-carbon travel paths to make it easy and flexible as possible for passengers. Public transport in the metropolitan area and this Avia police area will be almost completely emission-free by 2025, so after 4 years. Also, Vantaa is making a big investments when we are building the light rail, which will be completed in 2028. It will interconnect the metropolitan area rail traffic by introducing a flexible connection between subway roads, the airport, and the main lines. Thirdly, Finavia, who is an airport company. Its activities at the airport are carbon neutral. According to the industry standard, the activities have been carbon neutral in Finland already since 2017. But Finavia's next goal is to reach zero emissions in the company's all operations in all of its airports. Fourthly, flying will become carbon neutral. Finnair is committed to cutting half of its net emissions by the end of 2025 from the level of 2019. And the companies aim to be carbon neutral at the latest by 2045. In its climate goals, Finnair is one of the most ambitious carriers in the world. Fifthly, number 5, restaurants and accommodation services are also responsible. Members of our Avia network that provide catering, service favor climate-friendly food as well as local and organic products, and they strive to minimize the amount of food waste without compromising of taste, of course. The hotels of a network save water and energy as well as reduce their amount of waste. Secondly, freight traffic and logistics services utilize Helsinki-Vantaa's position as a hub between Europe and Asia. In this airport area, there is the world's first environment certificated cargo terminal, and it also helped to reduce freight traffic emissions. So these are some examples of work what we do together, and we promise that we will do also in future. The next slide, please. Together, we can create a new kind of responsible travel and traffic that respects the environment and creates new jobs and well-being. We hope that you will support us in this work. Come aboard. Let's build new sustainable growth together. So our big story is that aviation really can be environmental friendly. And after coronavirus, we are aiming to raise again, but not as we were. We want to raise even stronger, and we do more ecological development than before. And the last picture. Here you can see who we are, who are making this promise. Avia network there is 30 active partners. The network is open to all private, public and third sector actors interested in developing in the airport area. We are involving the state, 2 ministries, several municipals, regional council, private sectors, many companies, and also associations are involved. We have together with us also universities of applied sciences. So this is what I wanted to tell you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. A very good example of the importance of not getting paralyzed even when the situation is tough, and airport areas obviously have been hit harder than many others, but the train is moving on. And next we will hear from Mr. Markkula, He is Vice President of the European Committee of the Regions, as well as Climate Ambassador of the Covenant of Mayors, which was launched in 2008 by the European Commission to support cities and regions with delivering the EU's 2020 climate and energy targets. Mr. Markkula, please.
Thank you, and hello everyone. Let me first congratulate Ritva, Viljanen and the city of Vantaa and this huge consortia that you've been able to get committed on this major initiative. And in my short intervention here, I just made a few quick reactions or comments how to link what you already introduced, the initiative, how to link that to the other activities in Europe and especially to the EU policy. What does it mean? Why we need this kind of initiatives, which are not only the initiative of one city and its industrial collaborators, but it's actually much more. It's the initiative as you showed on the whole metropolitan region, all the municipalities here, and as well the whole Finland and a huge number of industries, companies, and universities. But let me start this linking this on a bit broader scale, so that the local and regional authorities, they are responsible for more than 70% of climate change mitigation measures. So 70% of the climate mitigation measures, and up to 90% of the climate adaptation actions. Therefore, the climate policy will be very successful only when we operate together with these local and regional needs and how they are then challenged to be tackled. That is linked very closely to what the Committee of the Regions as a part of the European official decision-making process. So what we stress, why the activities like Green Deal and especially Green Deal going local, linked to digitalization, to link to recovery and resilience funds, and all linked to the new research and knowledge innovation programs, Horizon Europe, and the coming EU missions. Why that all development is so crucial. I definitely want to highlight the importance of developing suitable methods and instruments for co-creating of societal innovations, or as in this case, especially the large-scale regional development. And Ritva, Viljanen already used a lot the words networking, collaboration, and as well the ecosystem. What does this Aviapolis ecosystem mean in reality? I made a note here that it's important to stress for all the local and regional decision makers that the role of cities and regions has changed from more administration focused authority style to the service and collaboration driven one. This means that when we talk about the city, in this case city of Vantaa, it includes citizens, it includes academia, businesses, and the third sector, and the nearby other cities definitely as well. And on this, the Committee of the Regions, we stress heavily that the cities and regions need to analyze and renew their role, their collaboration policy and innovation policies to boost the broad scale societal and technology assisted innovations to be able to tackle the grand societal challenges, especially the climate today. Thinking of this one of my recommendations to do together with the city of Vantaa and all those actors that are involved with this manifesto is that we use this as a concrete case throughout Europe. The Committee of the Region, since we have just launched together with the Covenant of Mayors, the Green Deal Going Local campaign. What does this green and digital mean in reality? And this is a campaign with a strong political commitment, but as well communication aspects in the campaign are important definitely as well. And on that, what you, Ritva, just showed, so they are very good evidence that an enormous positive changes can made to happen when we are all around, when we are committed. But this means as well so that we need to have strong private involvement on the activities, as actually is in this case very heavily. Here, now talking on behalf of the Committee of the Regions again, so the COR, we advocate reducing the carbon footprint, of course, by minimizing the negative impact of product, services, organizations, and the city planning. But we as well, we call for what is called the carbon handprint, looking forward, how to develop the impact, whether impact by the climate-friendly products and services, which are in many cases, they are created by industry, by businesses. This means for the European industry to initiate and invest in carbon handprint business development, such as improving energy efficiency, reducing the use of materials, climate-friendly raw materials, reducing the amount of waste, expanding product lifespans, and enhancing the product usability and scalability. And this Aviapolis case, especially with the huge air traffic. So this is an excellent example of this kind of handprint development, what the Neste company has developed biofuel for air traffic, airplanes, what impact that has in reducing the carbon handprint. And let me take another perspective of this in addition to the climate. So this is an excellent opportunity to link to the European research area, and especially on the new Horizon Europe, Horizon EU missions tackling the climate, and especially when we have the cities, Vantaa and many other cities in Finland who are committed and who are moving fast to be carbon neutral already by 2030. So we can be, the cities can be very instrumental in showcasing how this is made to happen. But this means as well so that Green Deal is not only tackling climate, but it's achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, looking all aspects of sustainability, including economic and ecological, but also social and cultural ones, mentality of the people. And there are many elements in this Vantaa manifesto and this case which are really and can be forerunners in showcasing how this mental change is made to happen. And this can be definitely launched as a pioneering initiative with many aspects, and that is where we, the different large cities in Finland, can collaborate, create partnerships with other cities in Europe and with the Commission, with the Committee of the Regions and others. I'm very happy that we have been moving, and Vantaa has been moving with its partners so fast in this case. And I'm personally as well committed to take these initiatives, this initiative with all its dimensions further on for the European and global use. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again. Thank you. Anna, you don't have the microphone on?
My apologies. Thank you very much, Mr. Markkula. Yes, for your insight on collaboration especially, and the handprint that is not spoken about often enough, I think. So it's good that you brought it up. So then moving along, when people think about airport regions, often the first image in their mind is of airports and airplanes. So now together with my colleague Mikko Viinikainen from Avia, we will give you a taste of what the sustainable today and the sustainable future looks like for airports and airlines. Let's start with Mikko, who is Vice President Sustainability and Environment at Avia Corporation. Mikko, please.
Great, thank you, Anna. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from the sunny Helsinki Airport, which proudly is located in the city of Vantaa. As you can see, indeed, the sun is shining. The photo behind me was taken an hour ago. Everything is fine, but wish to see more aircraft at the stands, more aircraft moving, but this will be the case in a few months, at least within a year. Let me find my presentation for you over here. And I hope you can see my title slide, Helsinki Airport, Carbon Neutral Today, Net Zero Carbon Tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm afraid not all of you have been to Helsinki Airport, to the city of Vantaa, or not even to Finland. So let's put ourselves on the map first. No, let's not put ourselves on the map. Let's put ourselves on the globe. So where are we? Finland lies in the northern part of Europe, not so far away after all, 2.5 hours from Brussels, 3 hours from London. But the question is Finland near? It is not far when we think about the rising economies of the East, China and the others. Helsinki Airport is the easternmost Western airport on the way to Northeastern Asia. And indeed, Helsinki has very good connections throughout the globe. It is the biggest of the 21 airports Finavia, the airport company, runs. In 2019, we had 22 million passengers, 3 runways, lots of capacity. And as we say, or our marketing guys say, it offers the shortest route between Europe and Asia. But because I'm an environmental guy, I put it in other words. Helsinki Airport offers the greenest transfer route between Europe and Asia. And that indeed is a fact if you compare routes directly via Helsinki compared to those which go, for example, via the hubs further south, for example, in the Gulf region. We are an airport operator proudly in the city of Vantaa with our biggest airport. We are a major player in the Finnish society. We want to make good. Responsibility is core part of our work. We support and provide the accessibility to Finland. Finland can be reached. I could talk about other environmental responsibility issues, but I concentrate on carbon emission reductions in our work. There's a lot of actors at an airport. Today I concentrate on the blue and red dots on this diagram or picture. So the operations Finavia runs at the airport. We consume energy that creates carbon emissions. We use electricity from the grid, and so on. There's a lot of players at the airport who we can guide or who we can provide with services that help them to reduce their own emissions, but we cannot control what they are actually doing in the business. But how has Finavia reached carbon neutrality in its own operations? The electricity comes from wind power, and we have a lot of solar electricity production at the airport ourselves. All our diesel fleet runs on renewable diesel, and gradually all our non-road machinery will also run on non-road renewable fuel. That became available in Finland just a couple of months ago, and we were the launch customer of that product by Neste. Our buildings represent energy use, and the heating energy comes from the high efficient district heating network, which runs to a great extent with renewables. And the rest of the emissions we compensate on voluntary markets. This is how we have reached neutrality with our carbon emissions, but this is not enough. The next aim is to become net zero carbon. We will switch to renewable energy only, and hopefully find ways to capture and storage the rest of the residual emissions we have by then, but that will be a very minimal amount. And indeed, in a couple of years, I wish 2024, we can announce that we have reached net zero carbon in our own operations. And that is not exactly when we will open our new Terminal 2, but soon after that, we can announce that we have reached the level of emissions that all the companies should target at in the next decades. So this was my 5-minute slot. I could have spoken much more, but thanks, Anne, for giving me this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've been a little lax with time. Mikko, you did great, but I'll try to do mine very, very quickly. So a few words about Finnair. A very sort of proud member of the Avia network. If you can show my slides, thank you. So the purpose of Finnair is bridging the world. That is our biggest contribution to the society. Bridging the world can mean anything from world peace to uniting families to enabling global trade. Enabling people to learn about other cultures, about other people, about sort of enabling that unity as a globe. But that needs to be delivered in a way that does not cause significant harm for the environment. So that's why much of our work is naturally focused on climate. And if you show the next slide, reducing emissions is sort of simple, but don't confuse that with easy. For an airline, of course, we have real estate and all the other stuff that all the companies have, but our big ticket item is really flying. And the way to reduce emissions in flying is, like I said, not easy, but simple. So net emissions is a factor of the kilometers that we fly times the amount of energy that we use times the CO2 content of that energy minus compensation. So very briefly, kilometers would be about flying as straight as possible. It is very much also about taking the shortest route or the greenest route, like Mikko said. So flying via Helsinki instead of another European hub, if you don't have a direct flight to Asia, you're going to be saving about 20% in emissions. If you choose Helsinki as opposed to the southern route, say Doha, Dubai, you're saving about 40% in emissions. So kilometers count. Look at the straight routes. It is also about how the airspace is managed and several other things. And it is about intermodality. Not all flights should be flown with an airplane. Maybe there's a train or a bus or another option. And then the energy used. That is what we work every day. That is hundreds of different things where we're reducing the weight of the planes, where the pilots are finding more efficient ways to fly, and then of course the fleet itself. The new generation of airplanes are typically 20 to 30% more efficient than the earlier generations. Times CO2 content. At the moment, the only alternative to jet fuel is biojet, and the usage of that is increasing day to day, but it is still fairly small due to the fact that it is 3 to 5 times more expensive than fossil fuel. So the take up is a little bit slow, but it is picking up, and there's a lot of will both in the supplier side as well as the airlines to get this market moving. And then finally, what we can't reduce with those 3 levers, then we still need to compensate. And since the laws of physics kind of dictate that it's not very energy efficient to fly 10,000 feet up in the air, the compensation or other economic measures such as EU emissions trade are important for the airlines. And I shared what is my best guess at the moment, what this is going to be looking like by the time that we're carbon neutral in 2045. So sustainable aviation fuels, including also electric flying, hydrogen, and all that, is going to play the biggest role. Then energy efficiency, of course, the kilometers, and then finally still 35% comes from different economic measures, be it mandatory or voluntary measures. And this is true for any airline. And if you show the next slide, so we will be carbon neutral in 2045. We'll be carbon neutral in our non-flight operations already by end of next year. And then we put a 50% reduction target already to 25, just to make sure that that we get that momentum and that we get that engagement and excitement in the company to get this done. 45 is a little bit out there. It's very easy to think that I'm going to be retired. I'm not going to be working in this company anymore by that time. So you need a shorter target as well. So we're going to do a sprint of 5 years and be 50%. Emitting 50% less CO2 emissions in 25 than we did in 2019. So that in very, very short is how we see this as Finnair. And then we can move on to the high-level commentary remarks. We will hear from 3 commentators, about 10 minutes each. And first one is Sergi Alegre, who is Director General at Airport Regions Council. And he became Director General in September 2018. And previously he served for 7 years as the president of ARC. And obviously a very efficient man, because at the same time he was the vice mayor of the city of El Prat, where the Barcelona airport is located. Please, Director General. We cannot hear you now.
Sorry, I didn't touch. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for your kind presentation, and of course, thank you to Vantaa to invite me to this event that is so been till now and probably in the next minutes very interesting. I do really thank you, Vantaa, because Vantaa is one of our more active members of Airport Regions Council, being the mayor, Ms. Ritva Viljanen, one of our key vice presidents. Before to share with you my thoughts, just a few comments about what ASC is. Airport Regions Council is the organization of cities and regions in Europe that they have an airport in the territory. It was founded 27 years ago, and already we have members from all over Europe, and including Israel, from the city of Eilat. And we are based in Brussels. And it's very a pleasure for me to be in this event organized by Vantaa, because Vantaa city, it's not only one of our key members or one of our more active members, if not two, one of the ones who represent, in my opinion, the goals. Vantaa represents in the best way the goals and the proposals of Airport Regions Council. And it's very easy to understand. The main goal of our organization and of our members is to get the best from the airport, to try to minimize as much as possible the negative impacts that any airport has, and it's clear to some extent, but at the same time, or together with, to try to maximize as much as possible the very many positive aspects that any airport has or develops. And how to do it? I think today, not only today, as I mentioned before, but today it's a very clear way, is to reinforce and to try to make it as strong as possible, this magic triangle between airports, airlines, and regions. We have realized for the last 27 years that as much as strong is this triangle, this collaboration, this work together, this to confront the problems, because sometimes there are problems, to confront the challenges together in a clear, honest, and with knowledge, information, with knowledge position, is the best way to get the best from your airport in all aspects. And if this is important, and it has been important, and this is what ASC try to help our members lobbying in Brussels with other stakeholders, and for sure with the European institutions, Parliament, Commission, Committee of the Regions sometimes. It's a pleasure to be today here with the Vice President, with one of the Vice President. If it is, as I say, if it was important, now is much more important. So that's why I think it's a very good initiative, all what you are doing there in the Helsinki region, because I think it's the best way, we think it's the best way to confront and to deal with the three challenges we have now, all the airport regions have. First is the recovery, clear to some extent. Second is to become green, not only the planes, as it was mentioned before, but the airport, planes for sure, and the region, the territory around, and in that issue, in that theme, the regions have and the local municipalities have a strong action to develop, a lot of things to put on the table. And the third one, and very important, is digitalization. So three challenges: recovery, to become green, and the digitalization of all aspects of the aviation airport related issues. And we are not doing, let me just make it a comment on that, for sure all the audience, that we don't have to deal with these three challenges in the air, no, in the vacuum, nowhere. We have to do it with competition inside of Europe, with competition in the global world that we live, especially countries like China and USA, that they are already growing like almost they did it before the pandemic, in contrast or with a different perspective from the European Union. Going a little bit deeper, I think it's important to work together as you are doing in Vantaa, and we're trying to improve in all our members in Europe and in front of the European institutions. But I think it's important now to get not only the help, not only the economic aid from Europe and from the central governments, but to the attention. So I think it's both that regions they need, especially for two reasons, and because of two more. First, because operations are, vast majority of them, by definition, as is the case of Vantaa and the Helsinki metropolitan area, they are centers of a lot of key activities. They are not just important by themselves, as it's known and quite studied. It's very important for not only the territory around the airport. It's much more huge, the impact. So they have, the central governments and European unions have to pay attention to airports and airport regions. The second is because a lot of regions, case of Finland is one of them, regions, airports are the only way, and airport activity is the only way they don't get disconnect, that they get people, that they get investment. In a global world that time, it's much more appreciated than ever. Regional airports, airport areas are needed to keep two main issues at national level or state level and at European level. To keep social cohesion, if there are not investments, people will leave the areas. They will go somewhere else where there is connections, where there is activities, because at the end of the day, you need to work somehow, and to keep territorial cohesion. And again, not only at the national level, but too at the European level. So that's so important that events and actions and developments like you are doing are showing to not only in Finland, but I think in all Europe, that this is the way it's needed to work like that together, dealing with the three aspects: the recovery, the greening, and the digitalization. What means that we have to train our people, we have to train the workers, not only the workers that they were at the operations and at the airport, if not the workers from the future, in order to be a global key players. If not, the cost will be very damaged for the people, for the states, and for the European Union, and we cannot even think about that. We should not even take in account that, because it will be really, really dangerous. In that sense, and with this I will finish, congratulations to Vantaa, to Finavia, and to Finnair for the work you are doing. You are a lighthouse, I can really tell you, in Brussels and other places, and please count with Operations Council as much as you think we can help in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General. Thank you for your presentation and for your kind words. Next, we move to Ms. Henna Virkkunen, the member of the European Parliament. She is member of the Committee on Industry, Research and Energy, the Transport and Tourism Committee. She focuses on sustainable growth, creation of jobs and well-functioning single market, sustainable mobility, digital single market, research, innovation, including artificial intelligence, are among her key interests. Please, Ms. Virkkunen.
Yes, good morning, everybody, and it's very nice to take a part of this important meeting, and I think it was great to hear this Green Deal Manifesto from your side and how committed all the stakeholders are this aim to be sustainable and boost this green transition from the Helsinki-Vantaa Airport region side. As you know, Green Deal is a very important priority in the European Union policy, and most of our actions in the European level, they are now focused to this, that how we can boost this green transition. And we know that especially in transport sector, we have big challenges in Europe and also worldwide. In Europe, we have been very successful to cut emissions in all the sectors except transport sector. It has been the only sector where the emissions, they have been increasing during the last decades. And that's why we are facing major challenges with transport sector. And now just before Christmas, Commission was proposing its sustainable and smart mobility strategy. And their Commission promised that they will come out with 83 different proposals during the next 3 years to make sure that European mobility will be smart and sustainable in the future. So it shows that how much work there is ahead of us. And we know that the last year it has been very challenging, the transport sector, especially for the aviation, because the tourism and traveling sectors, they were hit very hard by the pandemic. And in the same time, now when we are trying to help the aviation sector to recover, we know that in the same time the aviation should adapt more to all these new requirements, greening and also digitalization. But it should be done without damaging the benefit of this mode of transport as a connectivity, mobility, affordable prices, and preserving safety and security of the services. So we have to provide the decrease of emissions, not the traffic. As we heard already today, aviation is based on very high technology. And of course, this is important part when we speak about it, that how we can very effectively cut the emissions. And in fact, if we look the last decades, we know that the technological progress, there has been a lot of technological progress in aviation, but the reduction of emissions has been not very visible because of the traffic increase in same time. Now in the European level, when we are working with the aviation and trying to find the ways how we cut the emissions from the aviation, of course, it's also a very challenging field for us as a European decision makers, because this is global sector. So it doesn't help if we are just doing actions in the European level, if in the global level there's not happening enough, because then it means that we are just harming our own competitiveness. So in the same time, when Europe and regions in Europe, they want to be front runners, we have to also push the whole global sector to move forward with this green transition. Especially in the European level, now we are working with a few directions to follow in order to reach these 2030 targets and also 2050 goal, which is climate neutrality in the European level. So we have to modernize and reform of air traffic management system. It's a very important part of that how effectively we are managing the air traffic. We have to also in European level invest more to research and investments for the new technological solutions regarding sustainable aviation fuels, engines, other propulsion system as an electrical, hybrid or hydrogen global reduction system and so on. So I think that there is many fields where we have to work to make sure that we can have this sustainable growth in aviation in the future. And it was very promising to hear also from your examples that how you are working in all these different fields in Helsinki-Vantaa airport region and trying to find more sustainable solutions here. Now, in the coming weeks, we are expecting two very important proposals from the European Commission side, which will be important for the aviation. First of all, revision of the EU emission trading system, including aviation. It's going to be revised, the ETS, and that is important for aviation. We have to make it right, that we are not harming our competitiveness, but in the same time we can support the sustainable growth and the green transition of aviation. And also other important topic is the sustainable aviation fuels, what was also mentioned here before. We are expecting to have the directive of deployment of alternative fuels infrastructure, as well there is going to be a revision of the renewable energy directive. And these are important tools where we are trying to find ways how to boost also the use of these sustainable aviation fuels in the aviation sector as a whole. But many different actions are needed to make sure that we can reach this goal to be climate neutral in Europe in 2050, and all the sectors has to do their part. So it was very, I think, promising and encouraging to hear these concrete examples from the Helsinki-Vantaa airport region, and also how committed all these different stakeholders are. Because I think it's crucial that our businesses are working very closely with the public sector and also research institutes, education. All this knowledge is needed there to find the best and most effective solutions. And I see that the Helsinki-Vantaa airport region, it could be, and it can be, one of the most important innovation hubs in Europe when we are trying to boost this green transition all over in Europe in next years and decades. So thank you for all the work you have been doing here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Virkkunen. Couldn't agree with you more. It is quite a balancing act to make sure that we have a ambitious enough green transition, but without jeopardizing our competitive capabilities. So finally, so last but not least, we'll hear from Mr. Magnus Gislev, team leader on sustainable aviation in DG Move at the European Commission. He's been with the Commission since 1995 already, and currently working in the aviation policy unit on environmental matters, then within ICAO. And after this presentation, then you will have a chance to ask questions, give comments. So please write them in the chat, or then after Mr. Gislev's presentation, you can just ask for a comment in the chat. Please, Mr. Gislev.
Thank you very much, Anne, and good morning from Brussels again. I hope if I do like this, you can not only hear me, but also see me.
Yes, we see you.
Thank you very much to the organizers for inviting also the European Commission to this event focused on the Green Deal Manifesto of the Helsinki-Vantaa airport region. I'm delighted to be with you this morning and give the European Commission's perspectives on this initiative. And I'm happy to see also colleagues at the European Commission are also joining this call, actually. We warmly welcome initiatives of this kind, and we wish you all success in driving progress in the airport region and meeting the objectives of the manifesto through the very broad partnership that you have set up. Progress has clearly already been made, as we heard, in recent years, but a lot of hard work is no doubt still ahead. Transport in general and aviation in particular has been extremely hard hit by the coronavirus crisis with serious financial consequences, and we heard some striking numbers from the mayor of Vantaa. While we still cannot count the full impact, we do know for sure that we will need a robust transport system that functions well, and this is essential for successful economic recovery. At EU level, we are determined to pursue our objective to make transport smarter and cleaner, and we now also aim to making it recover as fast as possible and keeping it resilient. It means doing more to increase sustainability, increase efficiency and step up modernization, as well as strengthening the single market and the competitiveness of the industry. Let me now put this initiative in the context of the European Green Deal. Sustainability in the mobility and transport sector is a very important element of the European Green Deal. All transport modes are here to stay, as they are all indispensable to mobility. We will therefore need to boost the uptake of clean fleets and alternative fuels for road, maritime, aviation and rail. And we want to improve efficiency across the whole transport system, cutting unnecessary emissions as soon as we can, wherever they are. Europe has a clear climate ambition, as we all know, and transport needs to play its part. We need the total transport-related greenhouse gas emissions to go down by 90% by 2050 to help the EU become the first carbon neutral continent. And now zooming in on the aviation sector. The recovery of European aviation must go hand in hand with ambitious measures to address aviation emissions and the sector's environmental footprint. So precisely the type of measures your cooperation is based on. Firstly, the huge potential of sustainable aviation fuels is almost completely untapped, as was already mentioned by Anne from Finnair. The aviation sector has relied too long on fossil energy. It is time to make a bold transition towards renewable energy in aviation. Given the closely integrated EU aviation market and the need for large-scale investments in new production capacity for sustainable aviation fuels, the EU clearly has a role to play here, and we are preparing a proposal to that effect, as just mentioned. Another key enabler to achieve the objectives of the Green Deal will be research and innovation regarding both new greener types of planes and new greener types of aviation fuels. I am thinking in particular of power to liquid, which would allow planes with current technology to fly much greener than today. We have proposed a new European partnership for clean aviation under Horizon Europe, the next EU program for research and innovation, taking off this year. And the ambition is to have new disruptive technologies ready by 2030, and this would create opportunities for the industry to market these technologies by 2035. Improving the environmental footprint of aviation also requires addressing not only the performance of aircraft, but also the performance of air traffic management systems. In this sense, I noted in the manifesto that Finland's airspace is apparently already highly efficiently managed. And last but not least, on the environmental front, we have the EU emissions trading system for intra-EU flights. And the EU also remains committed to implement ICAO's carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation, CORSIA, which started its offsetting phase in January. And the European Commission will, before the summer break, make a legislative proposal to implement CORSIA through a revision of the EU ETS directive, as also mentioned by Ms. Virkkunen. Strongly influenced by the European Green Deal, the European Commission adopted in December last year a sustainable and smart mobility strategy for the EU. As rightly pointed out in the invitation to this event, in this strategy, the European Commission views the development of zero-emission airports as one of the key flagship areas for achieving the Green Deal objectives. Both ports and airports are key for our international connectivity, for the European economy and for the regions. The European Commission considers that in their transition to zero-emission nodes, the best practices followed by the most sustainable airport regions should be widely spread across Europe. Airports should become multimodal mobility and transport hubs, linking all the relevant modes. This will improve local air quality and thereby contributing to improved health of nearby residents. The Commission will also propose measures to make our airports clean by incentivizing the deployment of renewable and low carbon fuels and feeding stationed aircraft with renewable power instead of fossil energy, incentivizing the development and use of new, cleaner and quieter aircraft, revising airport charges and greening ground movements at airports. So we are really interested in the good examples you will be able to show, and we wish you all the best in this very ambitious partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Extremely interesting, especially the new fuels coming up. So let's see if I have time to ask a question as well. So thank you for all the presenters. We now have about 15 minutes for any possible questions or comments before the concluding remarks. And so please write them in the chat or raise your hand if you want to speak up. We have one question in the chat already, sort of asking about the practicalities of the network. Ms. Minna Halmetoja asks, great that so many stakeholders are involved in the manifesto. Would you please tell us more about your work together? Do you have regular meetings, follow-ups on your common actions, etc.? And how educational institutions are precisely taking actions in this matter? And she also thanks everyone for the interesting webinar. I guess this question goes to Mayor Viljanen.
Yeah, yeah. Hi. Yeah, the answer. I'm chairing this aviation network because it's a quite good role for the city of Vantaa, so that we have a coordinating party. This is not based on legislation, but in last government period, what we have the final start was action from the Minister of Traffic and Telecommunication. In those days, they recommended to have this kind of Avia networks in every airport in Finland. But actually nowadays, this Helsinki-Vantaa aviation network is the only one who is left. And but we are very active and we highly appreciate this networking. We have regular meetings. We have made an action plan. We have also our main secretary, head secretary Ulla. You can show yourself. You are here also, but maybe you just tell who you are and who is coordinating and making this work that it goes on. And together with Uusimaa region and Finnair, we are paying this. What does this cost? It's very important that you have some resources to do something. But we have also this Ulla the main. Sorry, my broken English. What is this word? What I'm trying, but so-called main secretary here, and so but she does. She keeps that going on and makes this behind work. A lot of with Corona has brought us more even tightened us our work because it has been so hard times to airport city, and we made even together a fund. We applied this European Union Corona Fund, but we haven't have yet answer. We will have some a big investment, but we are ready also to make in this aviation area a really big hundreds of euros investments also together. So this I recommend that to have this kind of network, and also that we have several meetings in a year. It keeps that we are fixed together. It's easy to work together. Thank you. But Ulla, you are here also. Can you say something more, and you can also tell who you are, Ulla?
Yeah. Hello. Thank you, Mayor Viljanen. So I work for this Avia network. So I'm the person behind all this. So we organize meetings and we benchmark our competitors. And at this Corona time, we are really going for our stakeholders, as in the keeping connections with the ministry and all the important stakeholders for us. So this is really kind of work what our stakeholders need and what they wanna have. So we have been meeting ministries and all kind of governmental heads for giving the best and most current information what's going on. And next time when we meet at the end of this month, so we are talking about this EU recovery plan, what we are gonna get out of it, hope we're gonna get out of it something. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ulla. We have the next question here. Biofuel is already existing and available. So why not airliners just put it into tanks and take off? Reduction of pollution onto air would be remarkable today and not after 20 years. I guess this question goes to me then. Yes, it exists and it is available. There are maybe three main challenges with that. One is a technical challenge, and that is that we can't use more than 50% of biofuel in the tank. So this is a certification issue. So you can only fly with 50% biofuel, 50% fossil fuel at the moment. That is bound to change. And the second challenge is availability. There is not enough biofuel in the world to do that 50%. There isn't even enough to do 1% of all aviation today. So the production needs to speed up, and I think that was referred to in some of the remarks as well. That we need to incentivize this production. There are other fuels on the horizon as well, such as the power to liquid that was mentioned. That is then has even less carbon emissions than biofuel, but that is coming maybe after 2025. So there's a technical challenge, there's a availability challenge, and then there's a pricing challenge. As I said, biofuel is 3 to 5 times more expensive, so no airline could afford to fly with even that 50% yet. But it is kind of a chicken and egg situation. So we're trying to figure out together with suppliers so that they would have that confidence in investing in production. We get the volumes up so that the prices could come down and their airlines could actually afford to use it more than today. And there's a continuation. It will be a mix also in the future. It will be a mix in the foreseeable future, but there's already research going on how to fly on 100% biofuel. I hope that answered your question. Then we have a hand up here. Let me see. Mikko Viinikainen, please.
Thank you, Anne. Just a comment or addition to Mr. Gislev's presentation from DG Move. He mentioned about the sustainable mobility strategy and the importance of sustainable hubs as transfer points for mobility with different means of transport. So in regarding modal shift from different transport modes. Indeed, zero carbon airports is a target that many airport operators have. And I would thank the Airports Council International Europe for the guidance that the organization has provided to airports in Europe in managing carbon emissions. It was already in 2009 when ACI Europe launched the Airport Carbon Accreditation Scheme, which gives a framework for carbon reduction in airports operations. And it also gives you the framework to show your achievements and officially, for example, verify your carbon footprint annually. So airports in general have been active in reaching the kind of emission or net zero emission status that was referred to by Mr. Gislev. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikko. We still have a few minutes if you have further questions. I have one. Meanwhile, while you're writing yours to our high-level commenters, I think any of you are able to answer. Mr. Gislev was talking about power to liquid, and that is definitely an interesting technology. There are many others as well coming up, such as hydrogen. Then there's a lot of buzz around electric flying, and so on. And then of course the biofuels, and the biofuels of today are developing and becoming better and better. How do you see sort of the technology mix going forward? And when you're looking at incentivizing innovation and incentivizing the supply, how do you make the choices on which technologies to back up?
Thank you, Anna. I would be happy to respond to that, and also to the comment in the chat field that maybe it's better to wait for the next generation technology rather than sustainable aviation fuels. It's not really a question of one or the other. We need actually all the different options that are available in the coming years, and there's a little bit of difference in the time frame when the different options are available as well. We feel that, for example, with sustainable aviation fuels, and in particular in the future with renewable, with power to liquid fuels produced from renewable energy, 100%, this is not only something that we should already start working on today, but it's also a more long-term solution, because if we look at the zero-emission aircraft technologies that are under development, electric flying or hydrogen flying, there are limitations to those solutions in terms of the size of the aircraft, in terms of their abilities to serve also the long-haul market that is particularly important in your region. So if we look at sustainable aviation fuels and power to liquid fuels, we consider that in the towards 2050 we will have at least 60% of all jet fuels will come from such fuels, and the industry itself in its roadmap called Destination 2050, they consider that something like 83% of the entire drop in jet fuels would be sustainable aviation fuel. So it's not only something that can be ramped up in the short term, but certainly in the longer term as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Did Ms. Virkkunen want to add to that? Or Mr. Alegre? No, we're happy with that answer. Good. Thank you very much. This is an interesting discussion, and we're going to be needing a big toolbox of different technologies going forward, and who knows what will be the winning ones, or maybe we will take all of them in at the same time. And of course, then the beauty of biofuels and power to X liquids is that they are so-called drop-in fuels, so that you can use the existing aircraft technology, and you can have a different mixes of fossil power to liquid and biofuel to fly the planes. But everything will take us towards that target of carbon neutrality and the fossil-free future at the end. Thank you so much for the questions, again for the presentation, and finally we have the concluding remarks from Mr. Ossi Savolinan, who is Regional Mayor, Regional Council of Helsinki-Uusimaa, where he has been Regional Mayor since 2008, and he's also the Vice Chairman for the Avia network. Please, Mr. Savolainen.
Thank you, Anne, very much. Good, sunny and warm morning here from Hyvinkää. I think so that it might be one of the warmest day now during this spring here in Finland, and especially here in Hyvinkää. Hyvinkää, we are northern part of Uusimaa region. On behalf of the Helsinki-Uusimaa Regional Council, my warmest thanks go to all speakers, to all participants, national and global air traffic actors, EU institutions, EU regional offices, and representatives of different European networks. Finland and Helsinki-Uusimaa have set an ambitious climate goals to be a climate neutral already by 2035. We are committed to the EU Action Plan for Green Development, to the Green Deal Initiative goals, and wish to be an active solution maker. This commitment made by the Avia network shows that we are working in earnest. The Helsinki-Vantaa International Airport, with its air transports, is in many ways very, very important to the surrounding region. The vitality of Helsinki-Uusimaa and the entire country is depending on smooth air connections. The busiest airport in Finland is of course our most important connection to Europe and very important bridge from Europe to Asia. Normally, our airport stands for as much as 4% of the Finnish GDP, and there are some 10,000 employees working in functions linked to the airport. Our shared climate goal is so comprehensive that no actor can achieve it alone. One truly important starting point of the Helsinki-Uusimaa Regional Climate Roadmap 2035 that was made for our climate work is the cooperation between the public and private sectors. We also add the R&D activities to it. That is research, development and innovation, according to the principles of our smart specialization strategy. The objective is to further the spirit of the EU Climate Pact, inviting to participate in climate action and build a greener Europe. Cooperating both internationally and within Europe is necessary when answering to the Green Deal call. The Sustainable and Smart Mobility strategy of the European Commission aims at accessible and emission-free airports with flowing travel chains. The Green Deal Manifesto of the Avia network shows that the largest airport in Finland is a globally inspiring forerunner in promoting sustainable and smart mobility. The Helsinki-Uusimaa Regional Council has been an active builder of the network, along with the city of Vantaa. The Avia network promotes the success of competitiveness of the Helsinki-Vantaa International Airport as one of the best airports, including transit airports globally. The fruits of this cooperation are now to be seen. It is remarkable that the large group of actors behind this manifesto have succeeded in setting a strong shared ambition and goal for the actors. This is a splendid example of public and private sectors cooperation. This is what we need when working with air traffic issues. The profile of Helsinki-Uusimaa shows strong fields of innovation, among other things being awarded as the European Entrepreneurial Area 2021-2022 is a sign of this. Entrepreneurship for a Sustainable Recovery was the award theme, and our region is the only one in Europe to be awarded twice. The first time we had this honor was 2012. If we wish to rise from the crisis, we need shared visions about a better future. When it comes to mitigating the climate change, we also need hope. This manifesto aims at meeting an ambitious climate goal, and while being implemented, it will bring the Helsinki-Vantaa International Airport to the group of forerunners, as well as offer solutions for other air traffic actors. Now, when the skies are silent, we have the possibility to develop our air transports. It is undoubtedly an excellent investment in the future. And the end, I would like to say that we have always remember that together we are strong, and we always need good, fruitful interaction to get new, better innovations and results. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Savolinan. I think that was a perfect conclusion for this morning. It has been very inspiring, very grateful for the great presentations, and congratulations to the network for the great job done. And hopefully this is a start of a broader dialogue on the topic. We're certainly happy to share our experiences and to be a sparring partner for other areas as well. So let's keep the dialogue going. And thank you once more, everyone, for participating, and have a fantastic day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for the chair.
Thank you very much.
Anne.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Thank you very much. Take care.